Hey everyone, my name is Justin. Welcome to the channel where my son and I take a look at games, classic and modern, and give our thoughts on how these games appeal to different generations. Today we're taking a look at the grandfather of JRPGs, a game that kicked off a franchise that has meant so much to so many, a name that's come to many to embody the very genre. Today we're talking about the OG Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy follows a very bare-bones story. The four crystals that govern the elements have stopped shining, and the world has been plunged into chaos. In these times, people take solace in the prophecy that four warriors would arrive to destroy the crystals and dispel the darkness. It's that prophecy that we embody as the Warriors of Light. The heroes appear and are tasked with saving the princess from the clutches of a powerful knight named Garland. Once she is returned safely, we are free to set out on our adventures, where we will encounter dwarves, elves, and others, culminating with our heroes squaring off against the elemental fiends and eventually chaos itself. While the game does introduce Final Fantasy staples like airships, crystals, and in later remakes and retcons, Sin, as a story it's very simplistic and very clearly a relic of its time. The bulk of the story is told through small bits of exposition from random NPCs and not really driven forward. The restoration of the crystals amounts to a series of self-contained dungeons and little else. Ultimately, the story, what little there is, exists to justify the game's existence, but lacks any real depth. It's fine for what it is, but if looking for a deep narrative, you won't find it here. There is a bit more to the story, but not much, and many details are very easily missed if you aren't hunting down and talking to every NPC. As is, it's serviceable, but not one of the series' best. That said, for a game released in 1987, I think it does about as well as could be expected.
To avoid spoilers for anyone that hasn't played it, I will keep this pretty simple. The player creates a party of four characters from six possible classes. The warrior, who can use most weapons and armor found in the game, and later gets the ability to use low-level white magic. The thief, a speedy guy that later learns the ability to use special weapons and early-game black magic if you're even able to keep him alive. The monk, who's probably the cheapest character to build, as he doesn't really need any weapons and hits really hard. A great secondary damage dealer and easy to use. The red mage, a jack of all trades type of class that uses a bit of black and white magic and most weapons. The white mage, a specialist in white magic, healing, curing status ailments, and doing light damage to the undead. And the black mage, a specialist you call in when you absolutely, positively need everything blown up. For the graphics, I thought they were good. I wouldn't call them amazing, but I did like how the world map and sprites were simple. I would have liked a bit more detail, but I think they did just as good a job as they could have done for them. Spell effects were cool. I really liked the Holy Spell animation. For the music, brilliant. I really liked it. Again, like the graphics, very simple. But there's a charm about it. My dad says I'll see the influence of this music in later games, so I'll be looking forward to that.
I've always been a big fan of turn-based or ATB-style combat in my games, and Final Fantasy is a game that popularized the style. The simple menus coupled with a straightforward navigation makes for an easy game to get into. However, the game lacks real direction. There's only vague mentions of events, towns, thieves trying to find. This isn't as big of an issue in the Pixel remaster, as you can turn off encounters if you want, but in the original release, this coupled with only being able to save the end could really lead to tense and unfun situations.
It was fun. This was my first non-Pokemon RPG, so it was different than I was used to. I agree that the ability to turn off encounters was great, especially for kids like me who don't particularly like to frequent battles. I also enjoyed the simple story, but it did feel disconnected. As for a kid like me, it was kind of frustrating. Overall, I would rate Final Fantasy as a 7.5 out of 10. It was a great game. The only reason I wouldn't go higher is that it was incredibly frustrating for a kid my age. The lack of direction had me wandering lost trying to figure out where to go. And while that can be good for leveling up, it did get annoying after a while.
I'm surprised you went that high. Personally, I'd say this is a solid 6 out of 10. It isn't my favorite of all time, but I do think it's worth experiencing at least once. As a dad, it was pretty special seeing my son play through the game that helped kick my love of the genre into high gear. With the boosts, you can easily blow through this in an evening, and while it's not a game I think people absolutely must rush out to play, if you're a fan of JRPGs, and the Final Fantasy series especially, I do think this is worth a quick run through.
So that's our quick review and thoughts on Final Fantasy. Thanks for stopping by, and if you liked our work, please support us with a like, comment, and subscribe. If you love the OG Final Fantasy, comment below and let us know your thoughts. Thanks everyone!